In this video, I'm gonna break down step by step how to create this proven viral thumbnail style, which is called the pinboard or detective thumbnail. This thumbnail style has generated tens of millions of views, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to recreate it. Now we're gonna start with a new document, so I'm gonna press Command N, and I want to use my YouTube thumbnail preset, which is 1920 by 1080, and let's hit create. So the first thing what we want is we want to find our pinboard texture. So this is the image that I'm going to use. So I'm going to press Command C and go into my document, press Command V. I'm going to double click the thumbnail so it zooms out, and I'm just going to position it somewhere decent. So this looks pretty good to me. Now, I'm not going to use all of these excess pixels, so I'm just going to right click and rasterize and trim. This keeps my document size a little smaller. Alright, so now we're gonna need some paper in the middle. So I think for this one, I'm gonna use this texture right here because I really like it. And I'm just gonna refine the selection so that we actually have like these nice, the nice texture of the paper as well. And we don't really need the shadows because we're gonna manually add the shadows. So let's see the overlay. If we change it to black, this is what it looks like on a black overlay, and on a white overlay, it looks like this. I can see there's a little bit of the shadow that is included, but honestly, that isn't too big of a problem. So let's change the output to new layer and hit apply, and this will actually put it on a separate layer. So I'm just gonna Command C this one, go to my document and press Command V, and obviously it's way too big, so I'm just gonna shrink it down a whole lot, and I'm just gonna rotate it, maybe stretch it and reposition it a little bit. I'm just gonna make it more square, let's say, and I think I really like this. Let's make it a little bigger. All right, there we go. This looks beautiful. All right, let's first add my image. So let's see where my picture is. There we go. This is the one, and I already cut myself out, as you can see. So I'm going to press Command C, go into my document and press Command V, and I'm just going to reposition myself to where I like it. So I think this looks about fine to me. Now I'm going to use the mask, or I'm going to turn this paper texture into a mask. So I'm going to press Command and I'm going to click the paper texture, and then I'm going to hit the mask icon, and this will mask it to my picture. Now if I want to move my picture around, what I can do is move it, but you will see it moves the masks with it. But if you hold space bar, you can see that it actually locks the mask. So now I can reposition it the way I like it. So I think this looks pretty cool to me, and I can always like change this later if I wanted to. Alright, now we obviously gonna need some more pieces of paper, so I found this right here. This looks pretty cool. Now let's add some more pieces of paper. So I'm gonna go to this document once again, and let's actually select this piece right here. I kind of like it like this, and I'm gonna use this one again. So I'm gonna hold Alt and drag it over to the other side. Yeah, maybe I'm just gonna flip it, and I'm just gonna like tweak it a little bit so that it doesn't really look like a direct copy. And let's see what we had at the bottom right here. We also had one smaller one, which is this one, and I'm just gonna quickly select it using the quick selection brush. Boom. Hit the mask icon, and I'm gonna position this one, let's say right over here. All right, this looks pretty good already. Now I don't really like that this texture is brown, so I'm gonna change the color of these images. So let's go to this one first, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create an HSL adjustment layer, and I'm just gonna desaturate it. Make sure to clip it to my loops to the right layer like this, and I'm just gonna increase the brightness. And that is basically it. And let's see if I change the blend mode of this thing. Hard light looks pretty good because now we actually keep the texture while making it more white. So I'm just gonna duplicate this one over to the other ones. So I'm holding Alt or Option, and I'm just gonna duplicate it to this one, and I'm gonna duplicate it to the other one as well. So now we've got a more white images, let's say, instead of this brownish, so they pop a little more from the background. All right, let's actually add the pins. So I'm gonna copy my pin and paste it a few times. Obviously I can resize it, so I'm just gonna scale it already, and I'm gonna pin this one here. Let's pin this one right there. this looks about right. All right, now let's get our thread. There it is. I want to remove the white background. So let's see if this actually works. Remove erase white paper, and this worked perfectly fine. This is beautiful. So I'm just gonna copy this one, go to my document and paste it in right here. And I want to start with the center one because the center one is gonna be connected to every single thing. So let's actually group these together first, and I'm just gonna call this one pins. And this is gonna be below the pins, of course. And I'm just gonna rotate it a little bit. And I'm going to show you a nice little trick that is going to be beautiful for this situation. And that is by moving the enable transform origin. So if you see this little thing right here, if I move it over to, let's say where the pin is. Now, if I rotate it, it rotates from right there. So I can go to this pin and actually position it perfectly. Now I'm going to press Command J to duplicate this thing. But now I can just stretch it over like this. Increase it. Increase the length like this, and I'm just gonna press Command J again. It's gonna do power duplicate, which we don't really need, but let's actually go to the next one like this. Let's see if it actually goes there, and then press J again, Command J, and move it over to this pin. Whoop. All right, so there we got the first few threads. Obviously, we're gonna need more. If you're watching this and you're serious about getting your thumbnail game to the next level, either for your own YouTube channel or for your clients, I want to help. Let's hop on a quick call where I can personally walk you through what's working right now and how to create viral thumbnails that actually get clicks. Click the link below and book your free call with me. All right, I'm pretty excited how this is actually looking. And what we want to do now is we want to add some shadows to our threads. So I'm gonna put all of them together in one group, and I'm gonna call this one threads. And I'm just gonna create a outer shadow, and I'm gonna set the angle to down, and then I'm gonna increase the offset. Yeah, I think this is fine. Increase the radius just a little bit because I don't want it to be too sharp because it's like distracting. This looks pretty good. Maybe go a little crazier. This looks about fine to me. Alrighty, so let's actually add some texture to these pieces of paper. And we're gonna simply do this. It's gonna be super easy. Let's actually group all of these papers together. And inside of this group, I'm going to create a new pixel layer, and I'm going to go to my texture brushes right here. And we're just going to grab any textures. I want to add some dirt, some splatters basically. Nothing too crazy, but I just want it to look like it's worn kind of. All right, now we can reduce the opacity, of course, because we don't want it to be too opaque. It should be a detail. But I think this looks about fine. Now I want these splatters to be only on the pieces of paper. I think so. I'm just gonna create a layer mask for this one. I'm gonna grab a basic brush and go to the top, press B on the keyboard, and I'm just gonna brush it out from the areas where we don't need the splatters, let's say, or the texture. All right, this looks pretty decent already. Now let's add some fun things to our thumbnail. So obviously, like my mustache kind of looks like Dali, Salvador Dali. So I just added here Dali wannabe. So let's do that first. Let's actually go into our paper group, and I go to my post-it, and I'm just gonna type here Dali wannabe. Let's actually center it, and I'm gonna use some fun font, maybe this one. Increase the size a whole lot, and this refers to Salvador Dali. All right, so to this piece of paper, we're gonna add this graphic. This is my school community, and let's position this one somewhere around here. And I'm gonna use the same technique, so I'm just gonna command click this piece of paper, and I'm gonna hit the mask icon. I'm gonna change the blend mode maybe a little bit to multiply, and maybe I can play with my blend options a little bit like this. All right, so let's add the Affinity Photo logo here because I always use Affinity Photo. So I've got that in my asset pack right here. Move it over to right around here. Cool. and this looks pretty decent. Now I want to add some shadows underneath my pieces of paper, and that's why I've grouped all of them together. And now I'm gonna add a group layer mask, a group effects, and now I'm just gonna push it a little bit too much, but remind yourself that it is a thumbnail, so you can push it quite a bit to make things pop more. So I think like this, it looks pretty cool to me. So if we zoom out, we actually have a nice distinction between the pieces of paper and the cardboard texture, let's say. But we want to add some drama to the whole thing, and that is by setting some parts of this paper on fire. So I've got my fire texture right here, and let's see, I've got some burnt paper textures right here and right here as well. So let's see if we can actually play around with these a little bit. So I'm just gonna grab my polygonal lasso tool and just make a very quick selection around the top one right here. And let's Command J to put it on its own layer, and I'm gonna copy and paste this one in right here. So this is a very big thing, and these assets, they actually come from Envato elements. I love Envato elements. I've been using them a lot. So let's actually resize this thing like this. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna mask out a few parts of the paper, let's say. So let's move this one up a little bit like this. And now I'm gonna go to this piece of paper with my thumbnail logo, and I'm just gonna create a mask, and with a soft brown brush, well, it doesn't really matter what kind of brush, but I'm gonna use a soft brown brush for this to mask out this little bit. Cool. Now let's grab another one of those because I really like them. It's very easy to work with them. Maybe this corner one. And I'm gonna do the same thing. Command J, Command C, Command V. Let's zoom out. And let's actually add this one to this piece of paper. And I think it looks a little too fake, but it doesn't really matter. So let's hit apply, and let's go to this group, and we want to go to this piece of paper, create a mask, and just remove bits that shouldn't be there. And now I see I should actually clip the mask to the group like this. All right, this looks pretty cool. Well, I think this one is a little too vibrant. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reduce the vibrance of this thing a little bit because I think it's too fake. So let's do it like this. And let's grab another one. Maybe this one. And let's add this one to the bottom of this thing. Like this. And same thing, we're gonna create a mask here and mask bits and pieces out. Like so. All right, this looks pretty decent. Well, I'm gonna use another technique to create some nice flames as well, and that is by using real flames. So I want to have some burnt pieces of paper, and you can see I just stole this image from Adobe Stock, but I don't care because they steal everything. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna remove the background of this document, and now I'm just gonna copy and paste bits and pieces of this texture right here. So let's say I want this part. Just gonna do the same thing. I can actually rasterize this whole thing. Press Command J and copy this thing over to our document, paste it in, and just position it somewhere nice. So maybe right here. I'm just gonna erase bits of this piece of paper. And let's actually grab some more. Maybe this bit. Boom. Command J, Command C, Command V. Let's actually position this thing like this maybe. And I'm gonna add one more to this piece of paper. Well, I'm probably just gonna grab the same thing, maybe this one, duplicate it and move it over to this one like this. And we're just gonna remove a little bit on this side here. All right, I think this looks pretty sick. Now let's actually add some flames, and we're gonna do the same. So I'm just gonna grab some parts of these flames. So let's grab this one first. I'm gonna press Command J to put it on its own layer and paste it in right here. And now I'm just gonna set the blend mode to screen. And I want to make sure that it's outside of the group. And I'm gonna flip this thing. Boom. There we go. And I'm gonna grab some more and set it right here maybe. Set the blend mode to screen. Awesome. And maybe grab one more. This bit. Well, we can paste it in here. Set it to screen. All right. Now, you don't really see these flames very well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a vignette. And there's multiple ways to do this, but I like to do it well in this way. So I'm gonna create an exposure adjustment layer, and I'm gonna reduce the exposure. And I want to make sure that my flames are above the exposure adjustment layer. So let's actually see. These ones are going to be above the exposure adjustment layer. And now you can see they really start popping out. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to invert my exposure adjustment layer, create a very large brush, and I'm just going to, with a normal brush tool, I'm just going to brush in the effect to the sides, let's say. So let's say right here. This is way too strong. Maybe I'm going to do it the opposite way. So I'm just going to do it like this and then decrease the exposure even further. All right, this looks sick. Now I want to make my face pop a little more, so I'm just gonna add a levels adjustment layer and increase the brightness, the lightness, let's say. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some outer shadow to my self as well, so we actually create some distance between the fore and the background, just like this. Now, last thing, what we want to do is we want to create this wanted sign, because I'm very wanted. Let's actually create it. It is super easy. So we're gonna go grab the rectangle tool. I'm just gonna click and drag a rectangle, and you obviously want to make sure that this thing is at the very top of everything. And I'm just gonna shape it a little differently, rotate it a little bit, and move it over to right here maybe. And now I'm gonna turn the color to red. So let's go to fill and let's make it bright red, because it's nice and well, it catches the attention. And I'm just gonna press T to grab my text tool. I'm gonna type wanted, make sure that the text is white, and I'm just gonna use Arial Black like this. I'm gonna add some outer shadow to make it stand out more. So I'm just gonna add a drop shadow like this, and maybe turn it more black, because I really want to make it pop. Increase a little radius. Boom. And I'm gonna do the same to the rectangle to make it stand out more from the background. So I'm just gonna add an outer shadow, increase the intensity quite a bit, and group these together. And now I'm just gonna position it, let's say right here. Now you know what it takes to create a viral thumbnail concept. Now, if you're serious about leveling up your thumbnail game and you actually want to start earning money from your thumbnails, then make sure to click the link down below and book a call with me, because I would love to help you out. All right, see you in my next video.